Hey friends, welcome back to the Burn Stress Lose Weight podcast. We are back from my car. I almost feel like I need to rename this podcast my Car Chronicles series because I have been recording so many podcast episodes from my car as I'm mom chauffeuring my kids to all of their after school activities. If you're a mom, you probably get what I mean, but I'm also often the most creative when I'm not in my office. And so I'm just capitalizing on travel and mom chauffeuring and bringing you these podcast episodes wherever I go. We are in the middle of a 4 episode series. These are the 4 top lessons that I have learned in my journey of losing over 60 pounds, but more importantly, maintaining that result through many messy, sticky seasons. And I wanted to bring this 4 part series specifically because overachievers actually are very good at losing weight. We have all lost weight before. There's so many strategies out there that will be very effective in you losing weight. But the trouble that most overachievers actually have is maintaining their weight loss results with simplicity. Ask me how I know. If you're brand new to me, hello and welcome. I am Dr. Priyanka Venugopal. I'm an OBGYN physician turned stress and weight loss coach for professional women who self-identify as overachievers. I have done the roller coaster ride and every fad and gimmick out there, so I know how possible it is for you as a smart overachiever with a wall full of diplomas to double down with some grit and lose a lot of weight. We've all done it. But if you've struggled to maintain that result or you don't feel confident in your maintenance, if you're worried about gaining it back or you're worried about summer, next season, next fall, next year, then this series is for you. This series is sharing some of my most painful lessons because my goal is by me sharing some of these lessons as forthcomingly and transparently as possible, maybe I can help save you some of the pain. That being said, I also believe that sometimes we have to actually go through the sticky, messy seasons. Sometimes you have to experience the painful lessons yourself. But whether you get to learn these lessons through this podcast or through personally experiencing some of these lessons, I think you can learn something from every single episode. Before I share lesson number 3 in today's podcast episode, I want to make sure you know that we are celebrating the 4-year anniversary of the Burn Stress Lose Weight podcast. I am not a huge celebrator of things. This is something I'm trying to teach myself to do more of. So every year I take the opportunity to celebrate the podcast, not to celebrate the podcast per se, but to celebrate all of you listening. Whether you're a longtime listener from episode 1 back in 2022, or you're someone that's newer to my orbit, I am so grateful that you take the time because I know that you don't have much of it to be here and to listen to these episodes. And more than that, I'm celebrating your journey. You're likely here listening to this because you want something more for yourself. You want to feel better inside out. You want to have sustainable science-informed strategies to lose weight. But more than just weight loss, you actually want to capture your most vital self. And I celebrate that journey because I know that it's not always easy to choose. The way that we are celebrating this podcast episode, first of all, every single person who enters our giveaway is going to win something. So that's exciting. We're going to have 10 prize winners, 1 grand prize winner, and then everyone else is going to win something still amazing. It's really easy to enter. Simply leave us a rating and review on your podcast platform of choice. Take a quick screenshot and share it with us over at burnstressloseweight.com/celebrate. It takes less than 60 seconds, and your rating and review genuinely pushes this podcast in front of more professional women, which allows this message to get more reach. So I would be so grateful to you to take that time, leave us a rating and review, join us in the celebration, and again, celebrate yourself for being here. Head over to burnstressloseweight.com/celebrate. I will have all of the giveaway rules. There's really not that very many, and you get to find out what the 10 prize winners are going to win. I'm actually going to leave you hanging. I want you to go and check it out so you can see what you get to win. It's pretty amazing. And again, every single submission is going to win something. The giveaway is ending on April 28th, just 1 week from today. So don't wait for tomorrow. Go and enter, and then we'll be announcing winners on April 30th via email. Without further ado, let's get into lesson number 3. One of the lessons that I had to learn the hard way, but I'm so grateful to myself for sticking with the journey and actually learning this lesson. Lesson number 3 is handling the crisis of confidence. Let me tell you what I mean by the crisis of confidence and what I typically used to do before I learned this lesson, why it was such a painful lesson for me, how expensive it was in terms of the missed opportunities and the lost results that I had because of how I handled my crisis of confidence, and then what I do now when I experience a crisis of confidence and how it's really turned a lot of my maintenance journey around. A crisis of confidence is when you're not seeing results. It's when things feel quiet. You feel like maybe you're doing quite a lot of effort. You have changed your habits around. You might have made changes to your nutrition or your exercise regimen, and you're starting to become more consistent than you were last week or last month, but it feels quiet. You're not feeling different different yet. You're not seeing the number on the scale come down. So you have no results to show you that your efforts are actually worthwhile and that your efforts are going to work. We have all been in those seasons. And this crisis of confidence isn't just applied to weight loss, it has come up in my career, in my relationships, and absolutely with my fitness goals, especially over the last couple of years as I switched from just wanting to lose weight to wanting to build muscle and focus on vitality. Before I learned this lesson, every time I had a crisis of confidence, when it felt quiet, when I didn't see results, when it felt like nothing was really moving despite me putting a lot of effort, my brain created some very convincing, convenient, compelling stories to stop putting in the effort. I want to share why this is so normal, particularly for overachievers, and also why it was such a problem. All humans have effectively two parts of our brain. We have the more evolved prefrontal cortex. This is the part of your brain that is forward planning, thinking about your long term health. You're thinking about your 80-year-old and 90-year-old self, your future planning for your successes and your well being long term. But the other part of your brain, which is the primitive part of your brain, is only focused on immediate survival. That part of your brain wants to avoid discomfort, it seeks immediate pleasure, and it wants to expend the lowest effort energy. Overachievers are particularly used to getting very fast results. If you think back to your years in school or in training, I remember for me in medical school and in residency, you put in some effort and you see a reward. It's like you give a patient acetaminophen and you'll see their fever come down, or you give them ibuprofen and you notice that their body pain improves. You give someone an antibiotic and their infection gets better very quickly. So in school and training, one of the lessons especially overachievers learn is when you put in effort, you're going to see very quick and fast reward. And we get trained in this way. A part of our brain starts to believe that that is just the normal way of being. That's how you know when something is working. You have to see fast and quick results. It also makes overachievers particularly impatient with themselves. When they struggle, when something feels harder than usual, we are so quick to become impatient and frustrated. I talked about this in a lot of detail a few weeks ago in episode 207, how to handle results frustration. But overachievers are particularly fast at being very impatient with themselves. Now, again, this is not a deficiency in you. It's part of the way you have been trained. So when you embark on a weight loss journey or a body goal journey and you don't see immediate results, the primitive part of your brain that is scanning for danger, wanting to make sure that you are safe, starts to create what I call a 3C story. It's a convincing, convenient, very compelling justification that maybe this effort is not worth it. So when you don't see results quickly, or when you don't see the number on the scale trending down quickly, you experience a crisis of confidence. So from now on moving forward, if you experience the crisis of confidence, just start to identify the 3C story that your primitive brain has created. The mistake I used to make when I experienced a crisis of confidence with weight loss specifically is I would feel very justified in taking my foot off the gas. I would throw in the towel, whether it would be in a small micro moment or have a total F it mode where I would completely sabotage days and weeks of progress. This is where I would either become completely complacent because I didn't know what else to do. I was so frustrated, or I would jump ship and try a new strategy. Here was the cost of my crisis of confidence. I never gave my strategy long enough to work. I never gave myself a chance. I never gave my body a chance to actually get acclimated to my weight loss strategy. I didn't give myself an opportunity to learn from what I might want to tweak. I didn't give myself a chance. I just think back on all of the times that I would try something for a few days or a few weeks. I would tell myself the lie that I'm doing it all. And then when I wouldn't see any results or it felt really quiet, I was so quick to throw in the towel. I can only see this now as I look back because at the time it felt very justified. Again, I want you to remember that your primitive brain sounds really practical because it's designed to save you from discomfort. It's trying to save you the disappointment and the discouragement of a possible failure, and it wants you to jump ship and try something new. Every time we experience a crisis of confidence and we take our foot off the gas, we're depriving ourselves of making forward progress. Now, this doesn't mean that we never assess or evaluate our strategy. Sometimes it's possible that your weight loss strategy or the plan that you're using does need to be tweaked or modified. I'm not saying to not take a look at that. However, while you're assessing your strategy, don't take your foot off the gas. This is what it might look like. You've made some changes to your nutrition plan, maybe your exercise, and you've been putting in some effort and you've been trying really hard, but you're not seeing the scale move or you're not seeing the scale move fast enough. It feels like crickets, like it's super quiet, and you're questioning whether your plan is even working. Taking your plan and putting it into action are what we're going to call, for the purposes of this episode, your health activities. These are the activities that are leveraging science to burn fat and improve your metabolism, to build muscle. These are not planning activities. So first and foremost, foremost, let's just separate the difference between planning activities, which I know we love to do, making your plan at the start of the week, your meal plan for how you're going to eat, versus the actual health activities that are going to move the needle on the scale. When it feels quiet, when you're not seeing the number on the scale come down and you're experiencing that crisis of confidence, here's what I want you to start doing. As you're assessing on one side, don't stop doing the health activities on the other. Stick with your plan long enough to give it a chance as you assess whether there is a tweak that you might want to make. From my experience now in coaching women across multiple industries, if you just stuck with the plan that you made, consistently for even 30 days, even if it's quiet, even if you don't think that it's working, give it the full 30 days, lean in all the way, even if you're not seeing results, you will be wildly surprised at the results you'll experience. Part of this is building your discomfort tolerance. We've been talking about discomfort tolerance a lot. As you can tell, it is one of the main skills that I know is required for you, not just to lose weight, but for you to maintain it for the rest of your life. And it's a learnable and buildable skill. But building discomfort tolerance when it's quiet, when you're not seeing results, and staying the course, keeping your foot on the gas with the health activities that are going to most move the needle, I'm telling you, will blow your mind. And what starts to happen when you just stick with it and you keep your foot on the gas and you don't stop doing those health activities, you start to actually give yourself a shot at building momentum. Here's how to practically do this. That moment that comes that it feels quiet, that the scale's not moving at the rate that you want it to, or maybe it's not moving at all, you're going to feel a discomfort in your body. You have to say it out loud to yourself. This discomfort is not too much for me. This is an act of metacognition, simply calling out how you feel in real time, which is called affect labeling. You're simply naming how you feel, relaxes the distress signals in your brain. It relaxes your nervous system. It helps your primitive brain go offline so that your prefrontal cortex, the evolved part of you that's thinking about your future, can start making real decisions. Remember, the primitive part of you that wants to conserve energy and save you from danger does not care at all about your weight loss goals. It's simply focused on today's survival. So if you have a plan where you're losing weight, it makes a lot of sense that your primitive brain might be freaking out and wondering what's going on. Are we under threat? Is there danger happening? This is why, particularly at the start of your weight loss journey, your mindset is so important. You can't feel deprived in FOMO and stress around food because it's going to drive up your urges and cravings to go off track. It's going to trigger a lot of scarcity for you. And it's what bamboozles some of the best plans. So lesson number 3 is really getting in control of your mindset. Expect that you're going to experience a crisis of confidence every now and then, even at the start of your journey, when it feels a little bit quiet or if results feel slow or non-existent. In either case, keep your foot on the gas. Actually label how you feel. Remind yourself that it is not too much for you, that you can handle this feeling, and keep taking action on the health activities that are going to most move the needle for you this week. Stick with this process for at least 30 days. Don't change your plan. Don't second guess your decision. Don't spend any time ruminating or overthinking the decisions that you have already made. Stick with it. And as you're taking action on your health activities that's going to most move the needle, you can always ask yourself, if there's a tweak you might want to make, what might it be? Go back to the first 2 episodes in this series where we talked about lesson number 1, getting really good at practicing skills rather than being attached to the timeline. I'm telling you, it's going to be a game changer. And lesson number 2, which might be very relevant if you're experiencing a crisis of confidence, what are the negative habits that might be getting in your way? Are you eating passy-tidy at any of your meals? Are you randomly snacking or grazing little bites, licks, or nibbles in little moments throughout your day or your week? Are you using food to take a break from a life stress? Getting really honest with yourself about those habits is going to help you solve for your crisis of confidence faster. I know that it can feel hard to stay steady when you're not feeling confident, but one of the lessons that I have learned again and again through so many different corners of my life, both in my weight loss journey as a physician and definitely as an entrepreneur, is confidence is earned through real action. As a physician, particularly in medical training, I loved feeling confident first before I took action on things. Before I went into the OR, I wanted to feel confidence first. This makes a lot of sense. However, with most goals, with your career and with your body, confidence doesn't happen before you get results, which is a bitter pill, but also I hope creates some relief that nothing is going wrong when you experience the crisis of confidence. Feel the courage, be brave, stick with the feeling, even when it feels quiet. I know that it's uncomfortable. have your back. Do not abandon yourself or your goal. Your future self is waiting for you. Remember her and remember to take action even in those moments where it feels quiet. You'll notice even after just 30 days that your confidence will start to increase. I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode. Lesson number 3, the crisis of confidence. I cannot tell you how many times it has derailed me and sabotaged me. It has created so much disbelief that I would then have to completely work myself out of rabbit hole after rabbit hole. It has cost me months and years of missed results, not just with weight loss, but in other areas of my life as well. Take this one and run with it. I hope that you found this one valuable. And again, I would love for you to join me on the celebration for this podcast. Head over to burnstressloseweight.com/celebrate to get all the details. It takes under a minute for you to leave a rating and review if you are enjoying this show. Don't wait for tomorrow. The celebration's ending in just a week. Drop in with us on your favorite podcast platform. I would love to know how you're enjoying this show and leave us a screenshot over at burnstressloseweight.com/celebrate. I'll see you next week. Bye. One lesson that I have learned over the years is when women feel better on the inside out, everyone around them gets to benefit. Your career, your family, you all get to claim the up level. So if today's podcast episode gave you a new way to think or maybe challenged an old perspective that you've had, take it with you the rest of this week. And if this podcast episode resonated with you, I would love it so much if you could leave us a rating and review and share this episode with a friend or in your local community. And if you know you want more support and structure in achieving your body goals this year, it might be time for us to work together. Head over to www.burnstressloseweight.com where I have the latest resources and all of the information about how you can work with me. I hope you guys have an amazing week, and I will see you at the next one.